Okay, so that's a little review of that. So it's important to be able to set these proportions up properly. That's the hardest part. And once we set them up, it's just cross multiply and everybody's, we're all good. Everybody's laughing, right? So I'll probably mention this again tomorrow, just a quick little review of proportions, but setting them up. Once you set them up, that's again the hardest part. It's getting ready. Next thing, we'll have a look at this. Solving for x and more complex problems. I did a few of these before. Let's do some more because these are kind of confusing as well. Complex problems, it looks like this one here. I'm trying to find a really nasty one. I think this one because it has fractions in it and no one likes fractions. I wonder why I was being upstaged. Okay, so remember the first number that comes first goes on top and the second one on the bottom, so we're going to have 1/4 grains over 15 milligrams. On the other side, we're going to have x grains. Remember, the grains is on top here. We're going to put grains on top over here. And milligrams on the bottom. So, now we had that set up properly. It's cross multiplying again. So it's this one times this one, 60 times 1/4, and 15 times x. But because the x is on the top, we can actually take the last part and say, you don't need to do that. You just need to do this. Since we're solving for x anyway. So when we cross multiply, or take the 60 times 1/4, it looks like this. 60 milligrams multiplied by 1/4 grains over 15 milligrams. First thing you'll notice right away is that the milligrams will cancel out. And I'm left with 60 multiplying through on the top. I'm going to have 60 over, I'm doing this slowly, 60 over 4 grains divided by 15, and it might look really confusing until you take that 60 divided by 4 is actually 15. So I have 15 over 15, 15 over 15, which equals 1. Nice. So that's the complex ones. And the reason why it's complex is because you end up with something that looks like this. Which when you first look at it, you're like, oh, what's that all about? I don't like that. But it's just, simplifying piece by piece. And if you wanted to, you can come over here and you can still do this. This still means 60 over 4 divided by 15 over 1, which doesn't look like that at all. Okay, time to get my new pen. The old reliable pen, 60 over 4 divided by 15 over 1. And then we turn it into multiplication. That's just 60 over 4 multiplied by 1 over 15. And that gives you 60 over 60, which is also equal to 1. So whichever way you do it, you get the same answer. I just took over here and I simplified this piece first, but you don't have to. You can do it the same way we've been doing it before. And as I keep on saying, there's always more than one way to do a math problem. We did a couple of these last time. I want to do some more, and then we'll do the final section. It says, one of these, let's see, this one. Let's do number 2. Before we do that though, I'm going to go up here. Again, you need this chart here for these questions, but don't memorize it because I will give it to you on your test. So, our conversion factors or equivalent statements is, for carbohydrates, 4 calories in 1 gram. For fats, there are 9 calories in 1 gram. And proteins are 4 calories in 1 gram. So down here it says 120 calories of protein is how many grams? So which means we're going to use this piece right here. Talk about proteins. So we're going to use this one here. So basically, you want to set up like we've been doing all along, which is a good thing to do because I like trying to keep things as consistent as I can because it's, if you develop a pattern of doing something, it's easier to remember it than just doing it different every time. So down here, you'll notice what I'm going to do is it'll look very familiar. I'm going to say 4 calories equals 1 gram. And that just comes straight from there. And if I have 120 calories, I get my calories with my calories. Over X. And when I cross multiply, it's X times this. And 120 times 1. So I end up with something like this. I end up with 4 calories times my X equals 120 calories times 1 gram. Then I divide both sides by 4 calories, which leaves me with an X on this side. If I want me to do it any slower, I can do it slower. But 120 cal times 1 gram over 4. You will notice that the calories will cancel. 120 divided by 4 would be 30 grams. So once you have this chart right here, these conversions are the same as we've been doing all along, just different equivalent statements. So let's look at the last section, which would be practice with food labels. So we'll use these labels to solve some of these questions. And just have a look at the questions. Let's look at number 4. One gram of fiber. I'm going to put the chart in the two so we know what's going on. Based on this food label here, it says 1 gram of fiber constitutes 4% of the daily dietary value. How many grams of fiber would be 25% of the daily value? I don't know where to begin. What do you think? Number 4. Number 4 on page 121. So I would just, once again, this is like nothing really new, just a different way of looking at it. So if 1 gram constitutes 4% of fiber, 1 gram of fiber contains 4% of dietary value. So we have 1 gram, change it over, 1 gram equals 4%. The numbers right here, 1 gram, 4%. So how many grams, which is our x, and 25%. So we keeps our percents together, and we have 25%. And over here we have an x. You can see we're all set up again. We cross multiply. We have 25% times 1 gram equals x times 4%. So solving again, we're going to divide both sides by 4%. So my x value, I know everybody hates the x on the right hand side, but we're going to leave it there just to get used to it. X is over here, so now I'm going to have 25 times 1 is just 25. 20. Sorry. Yep. In this case, yeah. Notice the percents will cancel again. And 25 times divided by 4 is going to be 6 1/4. Let's see where that comes from. 4 divides into 25, 4 6 is 24, and there's 1 left over. Let's look at the next label. You can try some of these on your own as well, and if you have any problems at home, let me know. We'll do them in class tomorrow. Let's have a look at number 6. Again, it's all ratio and proportion, and setting it up is the hard part, but we're getting good at that now, hopefully. Okay, so this is the contents for Big Al's Organic Sweet Juicy Dried Plums. First mistake is don't ever buy dried plums from Big Al. Just saying. Sorry, I cracked myself up. So, this is really crazy. I can tell you a story. Like, if you look back at some of the videos, when I'm lecturing this and there's nobody in the room, I'm saying stuff and I'm actually cracking up at myself, how stupid I'm saying, what I'm saying. And it's like you hear me in a room by myself laughing at my own jokes. It's pretty sad. Anyway, good thing I find myself humorous. Okay, so this one was worded a little differently because it says how many total grams of weight are present in 34 prunes. So this is what we're looking for right here. So like, first of all, you look at this and say, I don't think I have enough information here. Well, up here, if we back up, look at the chart, it says here, there are about 40 grams in 5 dried prunes. So we have 40 grams. I'll make it a little better. 40 grams. Oops. Try again. 40 grams is equal to 5 prunes. So now look at the question. Makes a little more sense because we can see the grams and prunes, and we're dealing with 34 prunes this time. We're trying to find out our grams. So as we know now, because we're experts at this, we keep the prunes together because the units are the same. So 34, and the x goes over here, 100 grams. No problem. Then we cross multiply. This is an example where we're not using 1, but we could if we reduce the 40 and the 5. But we don't need to worry about that. We just keep it simple, as simple as we can, and set it up basically how they're showing us. And it doesn't make any difference. But usually you don't see a ratio of 40 to 5. So cross multiplying, it's this one times this one, again this one times this one. So I have 40 grams multiplied by 34 peaches equals x times 5 prunes. Sorry, they're prunes, aren't they? I said peaches with last one. So we divide both sides by 5p, and we have 40 grams. You can multiply these together first if you choose to. I'm just going to save it to the end, because it's easier to throw it in the calculator. And you will notice that prunes cancel with prunes. And in my calculator I'm going to have 34 times 40. And divide that by 5. Get 272 grams. Any questions on that one? Once again, these are all basically similar, just different applications. This is using the food labels. One was using milligrams of medicine. So it's almost the same process every time. It's just setting it up based on different equivalence points, equivalent statements. Let's do one more from Jade's soy milk. Let's have a look at 14. Let's do a fraction there, fraction. So one serving contains 80 calories. And how many calories are in 3 1/4 servings? So let's set that up. So starting with our setting up our equivalence relationship, it says one serving contains 80 calories. So basically, let's look at that. So one serving right here, one serving is going to equal 80 calories. And we have 3/4 of a serving, 3 1/4 servings, sorry, which is going to be 3 1/4 servings. And we want to know how many calories which is where our x is going to go. So it's set up the same way as always. Sometimes it's a little harder to find the equivalence point, but when it says like here, one serving contains, keyword contains 80 calories, keyword basically means equals. Okay, in case you're trying to read these things and not try to read them. Once we have again, it's just again is cross multiplying. So I'm going to have my x times 1. It's basically giving me x servings, or times 1 serving, equals 3 1/4 servings times 80 calories. So let's do it the hard way. Just for review, let's take our mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. So it's going to be, remember how we used to do this way back in the day, a few weeks ago? 4 times 3 and 3 plus 1. 3 4s are 12 and 1 gives us 13 over 4. Remember all that? No. Multiply by, and that's servings times 80 cal. I want to just simplify that before I do anything else. So I have this can be written as 80 over 1. Just you still need to see the 1, so like that. And so therefore it's going to be 13 times 80 over 4. It's going to be servings cal. Multiply the units the same as you multiply the numbers. So can put in a calculator. We're going to have 13 times 80 divided by 4. That's 260. And we have units, servings times cal. But when we take the, over the other side here, we have x times 1s, 1 serving. Once we divide that and get our x by itself, it's going to be x equals, I'm just doing this to show you how to use the units. 260 servings, cal. You can see what happens is that divided by 1 serving. And you can see how the s's now cancel. And we are left with 260 calories for our x, and that's what we want to find. Right, so that's the end of the chapter and the end of the class. See.